You're gonna die. It's a Rumble in the Bronx reference. Yeah, CJ knows what I'm talking about.
Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
Guys, let's hear it for the XFL. They are really putting out some social media.
Have you watched any of that? Do you watch any of that?
No, but I watched the
Okay.
highlights, and they are way more fun than the other sports ball.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I've heard.
That's the end of my insight.
That is your
Yep, that's what I got.
Your thoughts on the XFL.
Yep.
Heard it here first. YouTube exclusive.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
What we need is American Gladiators to come back.
Oh,
No, we don't.
A third reboot.
What we need is
Or like a second reboot.
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. That's what we need to come back.
that's smart.
You haven't watched that recently, have you?
Yes, I have. I went back and watched some of it again.
MXC.
Was that
Yes.
that was the Takeshi's
Takeshi's Castle.
castle
It's
that they
the
they turned
sculpt.
racist?
Exactly. The resculpt.
To be
of-
fair, it was made in Japan. It was probably racist already.
No, I don't think so, though.
That show's just fun. And it could never, ever happen again for all the above stated
No.
reasons. But
Yeah.
Spike TV, man.
telling you, they were doing their thing.
They were
Yeah.
doing their thing.
God bless them. That show's fantastic. I don't care what anyone says. And yes, I have watched it recently.
There you go.
And yes, it is not acceptable, but it's still funny as hell.
Little light
It is not
racism
acceptable.
never hurt anybody, right?
You know, the things happening in that show were hurting people, but it wasn't the racism. It was mostly the falling over. And
The falling over.
boy.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
wait,
I'm
not-
Should we
doing
get the outline up and
great.
start the show?
My camera's not focusing again.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Sit on him.
There you go.
It's a solid
on 'em.
Talladega Nights reference. That's good.
Thanks, but
Yeah,
see, there
I
you go.
appreciate
He gets
that.
it.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
Get it.
you.
You gotta do what Greg does at a strip club. Just sit on him.
What?
You're not.
What?
What?
What's what?
What?
On what?
His
Hands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can control myself.
Okay.
I don't get handsy.
I don't know.
I don't get handsy with the help.
It's not like a Taco Bell.
I don't even understand.
You grope.
Wow.
You grope the
Wow.
Taco Bell employees,
I
Greg.
don't
That's
go to
what I'm.
Taco Bell.
Really?
No, I don't.
Do they
How
have
do you-
Taco Bell up there?
They do have Taco Bell here. I
Oh.
mean, it's combo stores with that and KFC.
Oh,
KFC. Maybe a Pizza Hut thrown in there for
No.
good measure.
No.
Really?
No.
You know, down here in America,
I've seen those.
in the United States of America,
America.
if you're lucky, you can find a threefer.
That's
Nobody-
the Bermuda Triangle of.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't classify
Flavor.
anyone. I wouldn't classify anyone purchasing food at Taco Bell, KFC,
uh-huh.
or Pizza Hut as lucky.
Oh,
triple threat.
Hashtag blessed.
Triple bypass.
If you win the Super Bowl, you can get free meals. You can go to the White House and get all the Kentucky Fried Chicken you want, man.
Oh well, there you go.
We just won the Super Bowl.
Fast
All
food
right.
just gets better the more it sits out.
Oh. And the grease really starts to congeal. Everything starts to turn that sort of white, filmy.
Did
That's
you
where the
see
flavor
that,
comes from.
There was some website that did a calculation for the different fast food restaurants that they had ordered from
Uh-huh.
for that presidential thing, and how long they had that food had to have been sitting out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
And it
no.
was just.
but it was.
terrible.
I mean, it was still wrapped, so it's okay.
Yeah, but like McDonald's French fries, you have like maybe a 6-minute window where
small
you can eat
window.
it.
Very small window.
Because
really gross
for
once
like
they're cold.
6 minutes, they are the best thing
They're
ever.
delicious. Yep.
But like 6 minutes and 1 second, it's just it's
It's cardboard.
They're just chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Are we gonna start the show anytime soon?
I mean, they
or-
have texture certainly, but no flavor.
Hello
And
and
it's not
welcome
a
to
pleasant
episode
texture.
693 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Oh, hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
You're wrapped in your.
I'm
snuggie
ensconced in velvet.
again. Once again, a little cold up
It's
there, a little
warm.
chilly?
What can I say? Well, I turn off the heater because I use a heat exchanger
should,
for heat, and you've heard it before. The bearings
have,
are
yes.
going, and I'm too cheap to fix it. So this is the alternative. I put on my Snuggie and I turn off the heater.
Acceptable.
Mhm.
And joining me from the great state
I
of
don't really
Washington,
care what you think
Mr.
is acceptable. How about that?
Bill Theobald.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
I
hi
didn't see
there.
you come in. Why don't you pull up a seat? We're going to talk about some video games. It's good to see you.
I'm already sitting.
It's true.
I hope you're ready to have some fun. I know I am. I'm practicing. I'm going to start one of those
Phil.
YouTube channels. Yeah.
Phil, you're
Yeah?
too close to the microphone.
You're too close to the microphone. I'm going to do one of those.
This is like some kind of POV thing.
What is that? ASMR.
Oh, yeah.
AMRS. I'm going to do
Yeah.
one of those channels where I whisper
Yeah, that's
sweet
just
nothings
creepy.
into people's ears.
Yeah.
I see you're.
No, you're not
enjoying
nearly
yourself.
close enough to the microphone.
Well, I was told not to. I was told not to get close to the
told not to get
microphone.
I know, that's
why I keep referencing it.
Not too close. Don't kick too quick. That's what I'm saying. You should have like a video where you can be
Don't
like a
kick
telepresence
too
robot.
quick.
A what?
Like a telepresence robot. So somebody could like
What
put
is
an
a
iPad.
What is a telepresence robot?
You don't know what a telepresence robot is?
I-
It's an
I-
iPad.
Well, he
on-
wouldn't ask you. if
Clearly,
you
I
knew.
don't. If I'm asking,
That's
it's
how
like
English
an
works.
iPad with
Uh-huh.
somebody's webcam from home on like a
Oh!
wheeled robot that they
on,
so
on
they
like
can
a
Oh,
attend
stick
a
that
party.
treads.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there was a Bob's Burgers episode about that.
There
Oh,
was
they had
also a
one of
Big Bang
those-
Theory episode about that.
I wouldn't know about that.
They had one of those on.
Most things I know about technology I learned from watching Bob's Burgers.
They had one of those on Giant Bomb. I
Oh, do they?
believe, At one point, and it's the first time I ever saw one, and it was hilarious.
Was it the same one that
Oh,
was
yeah.
on Bob's Burgers?
It might have been.
Okay,
No,
because the
because
one on
Bob's
Bob's Burgers was a cartoon.
Animated.
I know that. I get
So-
it. I get the joke. You don't have
so
to explain it.
Did they animate it?
It was animated.
Was Jeff Gerstmann there with
Oh, it
his
wasn't.
with his ink and paints
I don't know what Jeff Gerstmann does
and his and
in
his
those shows.
I
I mean, he might be. He
I
might
don't
be
know.
the animator. I have no idea.
I don't.
But hey, joining the podcast this week via telepresence robot is Mr. Luke Lore from the Xbox Expansion Pass podcast. Hello, Luke.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm here to consult about XFL and fast food. It's nice to be here.
You know what I will say
We
is
need that.
pretty great. You didn't mention a certain pirate game there. Yeah, I'm happy with the other two topics.
Har, har, har.
I know not of what you speak, sir.
Mhm.
But hey, there's a new Sea of Thieves update up.
Nope.
Coming,
Ooh,
this
friggin'
week.
That's it. You
This
used
week.
up your mention right
This
there. That was
week.
it.
Gracious.
That was it.
Aw, darn it.
Nobody cares.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
You know, there is a point
I
when
care.
I stopped talking about Musu games because I know
Yeah.
that I'm the only one who cares.
Yeah.
That just said, Warriors Orochi 4 just got updated this week with their ultimate edition.
Continue on.
I see you've selected Lubu. That's great. He's a very powerful dynasty warrior. I think you'll kill thousands of enemy soldiers. Let's press the A button right now. Wow, that's a powerful attack. Maybe follow it with B. Oh, that's a good combo. Tap A again. You're doing great.
We should put this recording into a Teddy Ruxpin. That'd be fantastic.
If you are a Patreon subscriber of the $10 tier, you can get ASMR videos of me playing through the latest Musu game.
We're gonna have to have some kind of like new age music in the background too.
Oh,
Like-
obviously.
I mean,
Is it ASMR? Is that
yeah,
is
that's a
that
thing.
that is the term? I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Audio.
but you're gonna have to be more whispery if you're gonna do the
Hi there.
ASMR thing. You have to
Hi
be
there.
more. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that voice will get you on a registry, Phil.
Good
Yep.
job. Another one. Audio, sensory, microphone, ramblings.
Mm.
That's my guess. Let me see.
Well, certainly if you end up doing it.
Autonomous sensory meridian response. I was close.
You got one right.
Close.
I was
Yeah.
close.
25%.
Yeah, 25% ain't half bad.
Uh-huh.
It ain't half good either.
Well,
Hey, then, should we get into some video game news?
don't see why we should start now.
I can't see how it could make things worse.
All right, let's kick it off with this one. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out last week.
Breaking
Oh,
all
and
box
it's-
office records for video game movie adaptations.
It's true.
Tearing up the box office. Yeah, $68 million opening for this weekend.
There we go.
That's pretty big.
Good thing they changed that character design.
It absolutely is.
It is.
Yes, it
It
is.
would
Because-
not have. It
because-
would not have done this well.
No.
had
That's
they
what
not
well,
changed
I
it.
mean, even if it had done this well, I don't see it possible. But that's all we'd be talking about is
Of
how
course.
terrible it
Yeah.
looks,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
which would have taken away from what is apparently an entertaining film. So
None of us have seen it. Then
I'm going to be seeing it next
Take it.
Sunday.
I'm going to be
I'll-
seeing it during the week. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it very soon.
I could not be bothered to exit my home on the day of love for the rousing movie of Sonic. But I will tell you, the news headlines do have me turning my head, thinking, "All right, maybe I am missing something by not going."
I've heard good things.
So have I.
Heard
It's
good
a little uncomfortable
things.
to be so excited about it. It's like, oh, all right, good on you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At this point, I'm just expecting an entertaining video game movie.
Was
So
watching a review
as long
at
as it's
one
better than
point-
Mortal Kombat 2, I'm good.
was watching a review, and at one point they were basically saying like it's entertaining enough that you don't even mind the gigantic plot holes
Yeah.
in the movie. So
I
mean-
I completely predicted the post-credit scene. I was I was having a conversation at work a couple days ago.
spoilers. I
And
didn't
I
know there is a
said-
post credit.
and did we talk about this in the show like a year ago when they announced?
I don't know,
think I know
maybe.
what you're talking about, and I think
But-
I can remember what you said, and I bet you're
I
right.
think
Did
you
you
said
did you say
something-
what the entire internet said
I don't know, probably.
about Robotnik?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
This is no. Every the because that first trailer had that brief little flash where you saw
Yeah.
Jim Carrey looking like
The
old
traditional
school
Robotnik.
Robotnik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone assumed that was going to be like the end stinger or the post credit thing.
Right.
But I was like, oh, you know what? I have a feeling and I'm not going to say what it is because it turns out that it is correct. But I was like, I bet this is going to happen at the very end of the movie, like post credit.
Yeah.
And it turns out that yes, indeed, that is exactly what happens.
And you haven't even seen the movie.
I haven't seen the
You-
movie,
you
but I
know
did
it.
have the
People
post credit spoiled.
People prefer Sonic over Mario World. Is that what happens? Or
Yes. Actually, at the end,
Big the cat shows up.
James Marsden's character. James Marsden, is that Cyclops?
Yes.
That's his
yes.
name? He comes out.
That's Cyclops.
Yeah, that is Cyclops.
I forgot.
He comes out like right at the end of the credits and says, "You know what? Sonic was actually never good."
Never good.
So
What was that line? Something about Grandpa?
What?
I don't
Anyway,
remember.
there
I
was
absolute-
something.
Yeah, there was something. I do
Anyway,
not remember.
all right,
Ugh.
let's talk about the Super Nintendo CD-ROM, aka the PlayStation thing that went up
Yes.
for auction or is going to be at auction March
The
6th.
I think
Nintendo.
I think it's already the auction's already going, right? But
Yes.
Well,
yes,
like a
it's-
pre-auction has happened, right?
yes, but I
what does that
mean,
even
like,
mean?
it's up for auction.
it's
it's
up for
been up-
auction.
It's
Right.
been up for auction for like a week.
Over explaining this.
Yeah, but like the final thing, the event is March 6th.
There will be a live auction, I believe.
A
Right?
live auction. Yeah.
Yes. Right now it is online bidding.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it Palmer Lucky who's got it up?
That is
Pushed up
correct. Palmer
he's one
Lucky
of
is
the
the high
people.
bidder,
Yes.
apparently, with $350,000.
That
So
guy.
he says
Mm-hmm.
that apparently that he said via Twitter that he's on a quest to digitize and preserve the history of physical video games.
Yes. And he
Okay.
knows things
Apparently-
and how to do things better than anyone else who's doing
Apparently,
it now.
this involves some kind of most advanced video game storage facility ever constructed.
Yep.
What does
It's called-
that mean?
It's called a bunch of hard drives.
It's called a U-Haul. Yeah, so $350K for that thing. All right, it doesn't even play anything, right? There's no.
Yeah, I was
Doesn't
like, what are
matter.
they
It's a
going
one
to
of
play
it's
on?
a
It
one of
plays-
a kind.
It can play
one of a
Super
kind
Famicom
item.
games.
It can, can't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Can
can
it
play
really?
Super. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yes.
But no CD-ROM.
A fellow I work with has played it.
Really?
Does that be
At-
Steven?
that was Steven at probably I'm guessing the Portland Retro Gaming Expo or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was at
It went
a
on
retro
tour. It
expo
went
I
on a
went.
tour.
Yes,
It was at a retro expo I went to a couple years back with Retronauts.
I think he played one of the Donkey Kong games on it, so it can play bad games at least.
Okay.
Zing.
Zing,
Got
zing,
'em.
zing.
Take that, Donkey Kong
Where do I
country.
go from that?
Yeah.
Speaking of bad games, BioWare is going to reinvent and overhaul Anthem. And I don't mean to say that Anthem is a bad game.
Good.
That's-
Yes, you do. Good
No.
for them for not giving up, I guess.
Luke here
Come on.
enjoys the Anthem.
I did enjoy the Anthem quite a bit. I really enjoyed flying around and fighting monsters. I wasn't in it for the loot game. I think a lot of people go for the end game content.
Yep.
I just liked flying around and being an Iron Man. And that was fun. I really did enjoy that aspect of the game.
Mhm. Well, they're going to apparently overhaul the game loop
Mhm.
and add content to it. So I mean, I think even though I'm not interested in Anthem, I think it's good that they're sticking with it. I think, even right after the game came out, so many people were calling for them just to drop it and focus on something else. I think if they had done that, whatever they were doing next would have gotten ignored, or people would be like, oh, they're going to drop this game like they did Anthem. So to me, it's important for them to continue with this thing, to just show that they, are in it for the long haul and will support a game, even if it's a quote unquote failure. But like 6.8 million copies, is that really a failure?
No, it's not a failure, but you also have to think, if they're able to, how many times do we hear redemption stories and what gets brought up? No Man's Sky, I think Sea of Thieves, Destiny, overall as a franchise being redeemed. Yep. If BioWare fails in their rebrand and their Anthem 2.0, that is, I think, a nail in the coffin for a studio's magic that was once legendary, and now after Andromeda and Anthem, they really need something special to bring it back if Dragon Age is to be anything. So Anthem 2.0 has a lot of power or potential power if they get it right, but if they get it wrong, it's done. It is done.
Yeah, they got really one shot at bringing this thing back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish them well on it. Hopefully they're able to do it. And like you were saying, other games have been able to fix themselves. Final Fantasy 14 is another example of a game that launched really poorly and came back, and Fallout 76 is also sort of in the middle of that reinvention as well. Anyway, let's talk about E3 for a second here, because Jeff Keighley, you all know Jeff Keighley, right? He's not going to be producing the E3 Coliseum this year. He's skipping E3.
What is the E3 Coliseum?
Participating. So E3 Coliseum was sort of a side event where they had panels and things that fans could attend in addition to the stuff on the show floor. So it was like interviews with game creators and panels on specific games and upcoming stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So he won't be doing that.
That's the first time ever that he won't be at E3, right?
It's the first time, in
said,
25 years that he won't be participating.
Bit of a
in
fixture.
E3.
And that's the story, I think. That's got to be the story, is that Keighley is abstaining from the conversation as opposed to, the Coliseum being gone.
Right. And as Mr. Badbit points out in the chat, that he did Judges Week as well for E3. So, it'll be interesting to see how this show changes overall. Like, will another outlet come in and take his place and run some of this stuff? Or, like YouTube has that big show during E3, like, will someone else come in and take the mantle? Like, now that Keighley has stepped away? I think there's sort of an opportunity there for someone else to do that if they wanted to.
Are we having to elect a new Dorito Pope now? Is that what's going on here?
Let's be fair. He wasn't elected the first time.
I mean,
What makes you think there'll be a Democratic election about this now?
Yeah, but the council has to go away, and you'll see a smokestack of orange powder coming out of
When-
By the elders.
when the nacho cheese dust spewing out of the chimney turns to Cool Ranch, they
Yep,
have elected
then
a
you
new-
know.
That's how you
Okay.
know.
Okay, yeah. Oh
There
man,
you
could
go.
you imagine just a tube sticking out of a building, just spraying Cool Ranch
I
dust
already feel
down at
nauseous.
the crowd?
That's where they make Taco Bell too, right?
That's what they do. That they hold the plain taco shells. Under
Yeah, they
the-
do, and
Yeah.
the
They
powder
sprit-
just
they-
affixes.
That's why Cool Ranch isn't available all year round.
Yeah. Well, you spritz the shells first a little with some water, so they
Oh, right.
Water
the
sounds
dust
too healthy for
adheres.
Doritos.
Sugar water.
I'd say a little little vegetable oil.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. They just some Pam.
Hmm.
Just spray a whole bunch of Pam on them.
Yeah, Okay. that's not gross or anything. All
May
right.
cause anal leakage.
If
It's on
you're
the bag.
lucky.
It's on the
Palmer
bag.
lucky. Let's talk about
Lucky.
What?
Palmer Lucky.
You just said if you're lucky.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain the joke.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine. Let's get into what we've been playing then. I'll kick it off because this is sort of half news story, half what you've been playing. Because Microsoft opened their xCloud beta to iOS this week.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes,
So?
and
Dish.
they were able to invite a limited number of testers. So the test flight program on iOS is Apple's sort of beta software program, and you can invite 10,000 people to it. So I registered for xCloud and got a test flight invite, and tried it out on my iPad. Now, the only game available, apparently because of Apple restrictions, is Halo: The Master Chief Collection. Yeah, I know. And I'm still left wondering, like, what is the guideline rule? Because Apple does have an iOS App Store guidelines sheet. As far as I can tell, unless they added something since the last time I read it, there's no rule that says you can't have a streaming game app on the App Store. Plus, Steam Link's already there. PS4 Remote Play is already there. So I don't understand that. But anyway, the only game available is Halo: The Master Chief Collection. It does not do the local Xbox over your network streaming, so you can't stream your own console, which the Android version allows you to do. But tried out the Master Chief Collection. I played one mission of Halo 1, one of Halo 2, and then I played a multiplayer match as well. And I was really impressed by the quality of the stream and also just the latency. It felt fine. Like, you can tell that there's a little bit of latency there, but it was feeling pretty good, especially in a multiplayer match. Like, with PS4 Remote Play, I would not play anything multiplayer with that. Like, it's just not built for that. Whereas playing on xCloud, a team deathmatch situation, it was fine.
Do you have one of those little brackets to put on your controller for?
I don't yet, but I was also playing on my iPad instead. So I have a stand for my iPad that it sits up, and then just used that. I didn't actually use my phone. I'm thinking maybe about getting a bracket. I don't know. Need to hear some reviews.
I use one. I use one on because I have xCloud for Android devices, and I use one on the bracket, and I find that it works extremely well. It's very cool, but it's almost novelty, and I'm very much looking forward to kind of the fold-out attachments when those become mainstream and more streamlined for that purpose. But I think there's a reason that you're only playing Halo in a test flight of only 10,000 people, because that tailors the conversation to be Microsoft's legacy flagship piece, and what is everybody sharing as they get into this, 10,000 is a small number, this exclusive beta. They're sharing Halo in a year where Halo Infinite is coming out and set to supposedly, bring that franchise back to form.
That's true.
Plus,
That's true.
Plus, it does control the test too. I mean, if this
It
is
does
really
control the
a
test.
test, you're all using the same software.
That's
Yeah.
right. And Master Chief Collection is really like 5 games in one. So, but I was super impressed with the streaming and the lag. It played really well. So, and it had been a while since I played a Halo game, but was feeling really good. We'll see, like when some more games pop up on there. Hopefully, like if they're able to get around Apple's restrictions, and we'll see how everything else does. But I'm excited about this. Very excited.
We can tell.
Yeah. Digital future. I also played Sparklight on the Nintendo Switch because it is currently on discount for 30% off. And this is a sort of Zelda-style rogue-like game by Red Blue Games. And Phil, you might actually really enjoy this because it kind of feels like Rogue Legacy, which I know is a game that you absolutely love, but it's more of a Zelda style. And they recently added a casual difficulty to this. So I switched it to casual. I see, exactly. So I can play it now. So I tuned it down to casual, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And the maps are procedurally generated, kind of like Rogue Legacy, but each time that you die, they get regenerated. But the things that you have collected or unlocked or like done in the world stay unlocked or completed. So you don't have to like redo dungeons or anything.
That's what a roguelike is.
All you sort of, yeah, I know. So you lose like some power-ups, but you don't lose like your currency. It's not like a Souls game where, you would lose everything and had to go pick up your loot or anything like that.
Right,
so,
right.
But the pixel art graphics are great. The soundtrack is awesome. The weapon design and combat just feels good. So it's on 30% discount now, I think on all platforms actually, but I would definitely recommend checking this out. I'm having quite a bit of fun with it. And I know you played it a lot as well there, Luke.
Yeah, I sure
when
did.
It came out.
Yeah,
you interviewed somebody at Red Blue on Expansion Pass as well, right?
Yeah, Edward Rowe came on. He was the first guest of Xbox Expansion Pass, which was cool. I'm glad to hear they added a casual difficulty because that game is beautiful and the music is great, as you said, but it was tough. So it's nice to see that's more approachable for more people to experience it. But that's it's a fun and great game. It fills a lot of nostalgic voids for people.
Yeah, and even though the difficulty setting is casual, it's still not easy. Like, I still did die a few times. So don't expect a cakewalk in the casual difficulty mode. But having a lot of fun with it. I also played Bleeding Edge. So this is Ninja Theory's 4v4 online game, sort of a melee combat third-person action game. And they ran an open beta this weekend for people who bought the game and also for Game Pass users. So it's been open. And this was my first experience with the game. And they have 2 game types. So one is a sort of territory control, point control game where up to 3 different control points show up on a map. And you have to get your team over to that and control that point and hold it for your team for like a minute, I think. The other game type is a power cell gathering game where there's 2 phases. One is collecting power cells, and then there's a delivery phase as well, where you and your team have to both collect power cells and then get them away from the enemy team if they have any collected. So really interesting game. Like I feel like this game is going to be best played in a group of friends. It's 4v4. Like, I don't know, the playing with randoms is going to be a lot of fun because team communication and coordination is super important in this game. Like if you are not calling out what's happening on the map and where you're going next, like you're gonna have a problem. If you don't group up, you're gonna have a problem. Because each of the characters, and there's like 8 or 9 characters, they have different strengths and weaknesses, and you need all of them in a group to really be an effective team and win these games. So I'm having quite a lot of fun with it. I know Phil and Greg, you guys are not multiplayer online players, but Luke, I see that you have played a little bit of this as well. What have you thought of it?
Oh, it's really confusing, and I mean that I don't know how to describe it. The game is so weird because I have played with randoms and had zero fun when that was the case.
That was the first few games that I played, not as fun.
Right, and then I grouped up with Mr. Babbitt and Kevin, who is in chat as well, and we had a lot more fun that way. Yeah. The game it's confusing. It's like a hero shooter, but it's melee based. The characters are super cool and diverse. I will say it's really neat to see so many different types of characters in a game. The art style is impressive. The sound design was impressive, particularly for a beta. But I don't know what this game is. I don't know who it's for. I don't know who asked for it. It's neat, but it's $30 and on Game Pass, and it's Ninja Theory, so there's a quality there. But yeah, it is a weird game. I do not know how to describe it beyond that.
I could see it being one of those games that if you have a crew of people who like to play another multiplayer game, like you could use this as a sort of palate cleanser or as like stepping stone, like you're going to switch to another game later, but start with this. Mm-hmm. I could see something like that, but yeah, it's a class-based melee game, and there aren't a ton of those, but there are a lot of like hero shooters. Mm-hmm. And just the fact that you have to be communicating with your team, you have to have a strategy, like you have to have somebody calling out where things are. Like, yeah, you're probably right that it's going to be a smaller audience. At least this is on Game Pass, and I think it'll have a bit of a built-in audience there when it comes out. I think in end of March
24th, I think,
something like that. Yeah. But yeah, for me, it's all about how they update the game based on player feedback and put new content in that you can get a hold of, because it does have like player skins and modifications that you can do to the characters, so you can level up your character's skills and change things around quite a bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one evolves. Ninja Theory, maybe not as known for multiplayer games. We'll just have to see.
It suffers from something I think a lot of games do, and it doesn't tell you what they want your objective to be early on. There's so many layers to what it is that you're supposed to do to accomplish your objective. Trying to parlay that into a tutorial is difficult. And then when you throw people to the wolves in a multiplayer game, that's very frustrating.
Yeah, there's definitely like a learning curve in these first 2 days where you could tell like a couple minutes into the round whether you were playing with people who had, died a lot and who were coordinating, or if you were playing with noobs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but interesting stuff. It's it'll be an interesting addition to Game Pass specifically. Then I also picked up a game called Snack World. This, of course, is a level 5 game out on Nintendo Switch. It's actually a remake of a 3DS game. And let me ask you guys a question. What do you think about, you remember Working Designs back in the late 90s?
Mm-hmm.
And their localizations.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they often put modern references in some of those games.
Yes.
How do you feel about that stuff?
Does Snack World have a bunch of Clinton jokes in it? Because I will approve of it if that is the case.
It does not.
I'll be honest, I didn't care then and I don't care now.
Didn't care then, don't care
because
now.
They did not, while those jokes existed, they did not overpower the games. They
didn't overpower the game.
They were small moments where, sometimes you go, sometimes it might have seemed funny. So you kind of go, okay, and move on. And it's like, if you're looking at a game that has a couple thousand lines worth of text and you got a Clinton joke here and, another little joke there, the percentage is so small, it did nothing to hurt my enjoyment of the game at all.
I agree. Back in the Working Designs days, I really didn't care. And I thought maybe a chuckle or two.
Right. I was more happy that I was getting to play those games.
Indeed, yeah. Back then, when we didn't get very many RPGs,
Right.
absolutely. So this is a level 5 release, and prior to it coming out, I watched some videos, and the game, as described, has a lot of food puns in it.
Mhm.
But it's a dungeon crawler where you play through randomized dungeons. It kind of seems to scratch a similar itch as Phantasy Star Online, and as we just played the beta of 2, I was sort of like, ooh, like I could be in the mood for a dungeon crawling random loot game. But anyway, so the videos that I watched had a lot of food references and a lot of poop jokes. There are apparently a lot of poop jokes.
Phil.
Disgusting.
So Phil, maybe you would like it, but so I only played about 90 minutes, but in that 90 minutes, the king in this game refers to, like, when you land in the world, the king doesn't really like your appearance because you're from a foreign land, and he makes a reference to building
Timely.
a wall.
Time.
Building a
Oh,
wall.
building the really?
Wow.
Really?
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
Oh.
All right, I'm not
Okay.
done yet.
Oh boy.
The princess who is with the king, her name is Melonia.
Wow.
Melonia.
Huh.
So this game has a lot of food references, so that could be anything with melon.
Yeah, it could be anything, but it's not. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
No. So when you get to play
Yeah.
online, the online lounge is called the Kofefe Cafe.
Ugh.
oh my God, they're going for it.
Wow.
We are,
And
we
then-
are
I gotta
three
say,
sentences
that's-
from a Cage reference.
That's way more heavy-handed than anything that Working Designs ever did.
I know. I'm playing this.
Ugh.
I'm like, are you serious with this stuff?
Ugh.
And it just kept stacking on. And
Ugh.
in your little online profile that you can create in the game to like match, it's like your player card that you
Mhm.
exchange with people that you play online, and you can customize some of the lines in there. And one of the lines in there that you can do is, "A president once tweeted,"
Oh boy.
Mm.
is in
Mm.
is in
Once?
the profile options. Like,
Just
what?
once?
Oh, well, you sort of match up two halves of a sentence in this profile
Mm.
thing. So that was just a big old turn off.
Ugh.
And the other thing is one of the characters in the game is your drill sergeant, and when you first meet her, she's like this very timid character who just sort of like softly talks to you. But when she becomes your commander, she like machos out and like bulks out and has these two like machine guns while she's talking to you. Anyway, while she's the quiet character, her name is Ciderella. And then when she like hulks out, they change her name to Cider Fella. But she has not changed genders. Like,
Well, I'm uncomfortable.
I don't know what to think of any of
I
this.
just don't know. Like, and you look at Snack World, it's a level 5 RPG. It's very cutesy graphics. Cartoony graphics. Like, it seems like it's made for kids.
So it's based on a manga and television series.
Yes.
Huh.
So do we know if those are like this?
I asked Sean Musgrave on Twitter. He's in Japan and he does a lot of stuff for Touch Arcade. And he played the 3DS game and played the Switch game. Those are not in the Japanese version. No.
But I mean, is it similar, like a similar
So-
style of humor? I guess I'm trying to get at. Because I mean, just
No.
because those jokes aren't necessarily in the Japanese version doesn't mean that.
No.
you know.
He said
Okay.
it was very much like a Yokai Watch, like sort of kid-friendly humor. And the Cinderella thing, so that character's name is Cinderella, and then when she gets the guns and becomes your drill sergeant, it's Commander Cinderella.
Hmm.
Obviously they couldn't call her Cinderella in
So
the game, maybe.
I'm
but-
assuming that there's a gigantic, the same people who scream censorship every time we cover up a boob are going crazy about this game, right? Because this censorship.
Well, I don't think they're going crazy because I don't think
changing
this game has
all
much
the-
of
I know
much of a following.
I don't really care. I'm just saying it's interesting to see this going the other way.
Huh.
But I bought it. It's a full price game.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I am just like, if this continues, I don't want to play this. Like, I don't want to play this.
Who translated it?
Who translated it?
It's apparently a guy, what's his name? Richard Honeywell, who does let me see. Hold on.
And Level
Yeah.
5 published it worldwide.
Yes.
Interesting.
That was a choice.
I'm
Yeah.
fascinated.
I was just really taken aback, especially the multiplayer lounge being called the Covfefe Cafe. Like, yeah, let's all remember that tweet. So anyway, I digital purchases can't be refunded. They say that they're all final.
Although we did find out this week that digital purchases in Fortnite can be refunded if you do it fast enough.
If you do it fast enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But I called the Nintendo customer service line and I was like, I can't, like, this like isn't appropriate for me to play like with my daughter, because not just the poop jokes, but there are a lot of like sex jokes too.
Okay.
In the translation. And I was like, I was going to play this and thought it would be something my daughter might like because it's a multiplayer game too. Like, we can't, like, is there any way I can get a refund? And they were able to give me a one-time, like, single on my account exception and got me a refund for this game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
This is the one time, like, on my account exception for a digital game. I was able to get a refund. Happy about that refund. Not happy about the localization on this game. Wow. Anyway,
Crazy.
that's what I've been playing. And like you guys, like, the working design stuff never really like bothered me all that much, but because it was usually just throwaway jokes or lines from NPCs anyway. It wasn't anything major in the story, but to have the friggin' multiplayer lounge, Covfefe Cafe, what? Like, why? Anyway,
Mike in the chat said at least they didn't name the princess as Princess Impeach.
oh,
Jeez.
that is beautiful.
You gotta respect that one. That was top tier. That was top tier.
That is excellent.
Oh.
But anyway, that's what I've been playing. So, Greg, what do you got?
I really have not been playing anything new. Playing a bunch of old stuff as usual, and playing Ring Fit Adventure some more. Man, that's good. That is really good. My kids love it. I'm really enjoying it. I really like how we've gotten to the point, or I've gotten to the point anyway in the game now, where things are color coded. So like your attacks while you're in battles. So each level plays out just like a runner. So you're literally jogging in place, and you kind of have to speed up or sort of lift your knees a lot or something like that, depending on if you're like running uphill or if you're running against the treadmill that's pushing against you. And while that's happening, like, you've got the ring, which the whole, you can either squeeze or pull out, and that'll, like, if you squeeze in, that fires a blast of air that you can use to like break open crates, or if you hold it down and squeeze in, you can like jump and float for a while to collect rings. And then also, if there are rings and badges and everything along the side of the course, if you pull the ring out, it acts like a vacuum. So you're constantly, while you're running, you're twisting and either pulling or pushing in the ring. But then when you get into battle, your attacks are exercises. So it's like, if you can set it to random, so it'll just do random exercises, but you can only have certain exercises equipped during each stage. And when you get further into the game, at least the first power that I've unlocked for the ring is that, if the every exercise is color coded, and I don't really remember what they all stand for. Like, one is more like yoga poses. I think one is all about working your legs. One is all about working your chest and arms and that sort of thing, like blue and yellow and red. And depending on what color the enemies are, that's the type of exercise they're most susceptible to when you use that as an attack. So like when you go into an area now, it says like, we suggest that you equip these exercises, these colors. So you're kind of, it's like, okay, so this level is kind of like a chest and arms level sort of thing, right? That's where they're leading you. So I really like that because I mean, it's the randomness is great, but it's also kind of cool that this is how they kind of decide to focus what part of your body you're actually working.
Right.
During the levels. So, but it's a load of fun. Like it's a brilliant idea. Wii Fit was brilliant too. I thought, because I mean, clearly it was, because it spoke to so many people and so many people tried it and used it. But I feel like this is definitely, that felt very mainstream, and this feels mainstream as well, but it's definitely feels more catered towards people who have an interest in video games. And you know, it's every level is like 5 or 6 minutes long, so you can get on there and you can play for like a half an hour and you can make really good progress and get a really good workout out of it. So I'm super enjoying it, and like I said, my kids too they're all asking to play it like every day. So it's a load of fun. It's very interactive and it's a load of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
That's the main thing that I was playing this week.
Is that it? That's all you got?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Luke.
Yes, sir.
What do you got for us?
Oh, let me tell you, in two of the games that I've been playing, I have been venturing to the nether worlds of hell to take on the devil.
There it is.
That's right. Zombie Army 4 is one of them, in which Hitler and apparently Lucifer have teamed up yet again. And I am banishing them back down once again. And that's fine. I know Chris talked about it last week, but I really enjoy that game. It's fun. It's campy. It's silly B-movie action. That's fun that I've been checking out. But the other one that I want to focus on is Darksiders Genesis. Now, are you guys into Darksiders? Played them? Enjoy them? Tried them out?
Got into the Genesis.
I was gotta be honest. When I saw this on the list, I was like, I don't remember a Darksiders game on the Genesis.
Well,
I've never played a Darksiders.
Okay,
No,
so I would. They are AA games at their core. THQ Nordic now has them. THQ made them before. So Airship Syndicate is the company that's working with Genesis, and it's a prequel to all the Darksiders games. And in large part, that's a story based on the war between heaven and hell, and humans caught in between. If you were to look at Genesis at first glance, it looks a lot like Diablo. And the pitch is that you are playing as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in each of their respective games. But in Genesis, you play as both war and strife. It's a hack and slash game that has a number of other mechanics, beautiful color palette. And I mean, gorgeous color palette. Like the colors are super rich. The aesthetic is extremely well designed. It looks like Todd McFarlane designed a bunch of the demons and angels, which is wonderful to see. It reminds me of if you merge Diablo and Kingdoms of Amalur together in terms of art style, I suppose. But gameplay wise, hack and slash action from an isometric viewpoint that is reminiscent of Diablo, but takes it far several steps further and plays like all the other Darksiders games in many ways.
But the other Darksiders games, those were like third person, more adventure-y style, not like 3/4 perspective loot grabbing games, right?
Exactly. And that's the kind of the kicker here, is that a lot of times people describe Darksiders as old style God of War meets Legend of Zelda, 3D Legend of Zelda. And there are those dungeons, those puzzles. I was playing co-op with Mr. Babbitt earlier, and we were banging our head against a wall trying to figure out one of the dungeon puzzles, whereas others might seem very obvious. And it is not a Diablo game. You're not on a loot grind, but it will look like and feel like it at first. You have skill trees that you do augment and upgrade similar to that. But it's a very good game, $40 game off the bat. 2-player co-op, which I like. It's criminal that it's not 4-player or at least 3-player. You see that you see it so easily there, and you want it to be there. But I bring up Diablo a lot because it feels in many ways like that's the conversation you should have when you look at it. But it's a great game. The physical copies are having problems rolling out right now. And I know a lot of people that ordered the collector's editions are frustrated. But it was on Stadia at launch back in November, and just now hit consoles.
Cool.
Hit real consoles.
Yes, real consoles. The real ones, the ones that work.
Real consoles for real gamers. Is that what this is about?
That's right. That's right. So, but I recommend it. It's fun. It's a good game.
Cool. Phil,
Yeah.
I see you've got a game here on the list. You want to tell us about it?
I'm fine.
Is this so? I was browsing the eShop. Oh god. I was
Are we?
browsing the eShop, and I
Uh-huh.
think I saw this game. Is this the one that looks like a Wonder Boy game?
It does look like a Wonder Boy game. So this this game, I will name the name of this game so
Wonder
people know.
Boy.
What is the secret of your power?
Uh-huh.
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
Yeah.
The,
All right.
Flight of the Conchords, if you ever heard those fellows. So
No,
I
no.
picked up on a whim
A whim.
the other day a new game in quotes
Quotes.
for the Switch called Goblin Sword. And I will tell you
Now,
right
when
now,
you say
it's-
new game in quotes, what exactly do you mean? Is this
well, it's a new game
oh,
for the Switch.
Was it
which-
on
Oh,
another
new to
platform?
you.
which it turns out that it's like a 6-year-old iPhone game.
oh,
Jesus.
Yes.
That is pretty
Okay.
new for a Switch game.
Yeah. So I picked up Goblin Sword.
Sword.
Goblin Sword.
A title so generic I actually had to look up the name of the game before we started recording, just to because I was like,
Oh no.
not Demon Sword, because that was an old Nintendo game. Is it like Brave Sword or Goblin Master? You know, it's a very generic sounding name.
Yeah.
But I was going through the new releases on the Switch this week, and I saw this game. It was all pixel art. It was very nice looking pixel art. So I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. So I watched a little video, and it's just a simple little side-scrolling stabby monsters with swords.
He looks like
Like-
Monster Boy.
It looks like Monster Boy
Looks like
Monster
yep,
Boy.
or
exactly.
Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy,
or-
Monster Boy, one of those
or-
games.
Take your pick from that cacophony of games, because that's a
Bouncing here and there.
maze you got to
Everywhere.
navigate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super simplistic, super basic,
Hmm.
but it's cute and it's fun, and it's like $3.
It's super cheap. I think it's like normally $5, but it's on
But
sale.
it's on sale right now for like $3. So I was like, you know what? For $3, I will see what this is like, because it looks like cute, simple, basic fun.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
And I started playing it,
Yeah.
and it is very obvious that it used to be an iPhone game, because once I started playing it, I was like, this seems the layout, the level progression of this is really mobile seeming, and it turns out there's a
Mm.
reason for that, because it's like, you start off the game and you can go to the woods. So it's like the first area is the woods, and the woods, it turns out, is broken up into like 20 super small little levels that take like 3 minutes to get through, and you're just stabbing monsters, collecting gold, and looking for a couple hidden treasure chests on each level.
Hmm.
And then you clear the level, and it's, you get a little ranking for how many of the secrets you found and stuff like that. And then you spend your gold to buy better swords and armor and crap like that. So it's very much designed for mobile, just because it's those short little bursts of gameplay. And it's one of those games where you feel like, oh, I probably would have downloaded this on my iPhone 6 years ago
And did
and
you find out you
said-
did?
In
and
fact, you
said,
might have.
hey, this is actually kind of a cute little game. I wish I didn't have to play it with crappy touchscreen controls. I wish I could use a real controller. And now you can.
Reminds me of
Well-
Ocean Horn.
Ocean Horn, yeah.
Was that the Zelda ripoff?
Yeah.
Yes, but
Is
it
that
was on
the-
iOS when there was no other
Yeah.
option, and then it came
Yeah.
to console, and we're all kind of like, "Oh, I remember."
Yeah.
Same spiel.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not recommending you go out and get Goblin Sword, but it's a cute little game. It's harmless. It's
Box quote.
harmless.
It's
Yeah,
harmless.
It's harmless. It's
Yeah.
cute. For my $3, sure, I'll play it for a little while. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had, but I've had a busy week at work this week, so I haven't had a chance to progress any farther in Star Wars or anything like that. So
Aha. Yes.
I need to jump back into the Star Wars, but yeah, I haven't had much time for anything else.
I was
I'm
glad when I heard
afraid.
you were playing Star Wars, though, Phil. I was
Well, you
glad-
should be. You should
Yeah,
be
it's a
glad
good-
at everything I do.
Well, here we go. We're gonna steer away from that part. But no, I
I'm
was
a
glad to hear it.
tastemaker. Luke.
An
The modern
influencer.
term is
Influencers.
influencer. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Mm.
Mhm.
No, I mean literally.
Come on, boomer.
I generate a taste, and if you're lucky enough,
Surprisingly different from the
Oh.
odor.
well, you got to mix it up.
like
Otherwise it
like
gets
it-
stale.
It's like coffee.
How do we know this, Greg? Have you
It's like
tasted?
confit.
Mhm.
Let's not talk about that.
Listen, we don't talk about what happened in San Francisco, okay?
That's fair. That's fair.
San Francisco
What?
or Seattle or Vegas or any of the other times we've been together. Anyway.
No, it happened in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you
Thanks for
are
clarifying.
going to San
San
Francisco,
All right.
make sure to taste everyone that you can.
I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Tweedly deedly dee.
This is going to take a half an hour.
It really is.
Tweedly deedly deedly dee. Tweet, tweet,
Tweet,
tweet.
tweet. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias, Mr. Nelson, who says, after
Oh.
hearing your kind regards after setting myself on fire, I was wondering, what are some of your favorite fire levels in video games?
We can laugh about it now. He's all right.
He's okay.
Yeah.
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 I'm glad he's okay.
Our
Wow.
very own Burning Man. like the famous festival. Let me see.
Yeah.
Favorite fire levels?
Fire levels in video games. Yeah.
Sure, like the Fire Planet in Thunder Force 3.
Oh, with that wavy background.
Yeah.
Yes. That is a good answer.
I liked Heck in Earthworm Jim.
That was a good one.
It was a
Yeah.
cool little level.
Yes, yes.
What about your
Evil the
Evil the
Gradius
cat
with
jumping
the,
around back there.
the little fire dragons that
Mhm.
Oh yeah, coming out of the
Jump around.
suns
yeah,
or
coming
the
out of the
stars,
suns.
whatever they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
Stars. Yeah.
that's a really good one.
I always I go straight to like Heat Man's level in the
Oh,
old
yeah.
Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
You know. Heat Man's levels are a fun one.
But not Fireman's level.
Fireman's level's good too, but Heat Man's is better.
Fireman's level had those horrible flame waves that were such a pain in the
Yeah,
butt.
but I don't know if I've ever ran through those without taking a hit.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, what else? What other fire levels are there?
Lots.
Well, example, please.
Well, I mean, Burning Rangers. You don't get more fire level than that,
Oh,
right?
That's pretty good.
Oh, the whole game's a fire level.
It's
Mhm.
true.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What else?
I don't know. I feel
Luke,
like
do you
we
have a
answered-
favorite fire level?
No, water and fire levels terrify me. Hell, I mean, I've played a lot of games where you go there and there's fire. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The
Sea of
fireball
Thieves has
things-
a whole fire area
There
with
it is.
volcanoes.
There it
and-
is. Yeah.
Yeah. You figured I would say that.
Yeah.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias. Rich Grisham, who says, I've been captivated this week by Gran Turismo Sport, a game that's been out for years, but I'm really just trying it now. It's a much, much different game than when released and tons of fun. What's a game you got into years after release and really sunk your teeth into?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hmm.
Can't think of anything.
Well,
Yeah, I don't-
Game Pass affords me that luxury, and because I mentioned Darksiders, the first Darksiders games, I got into those this past winter, and those have been out for like a decade. There's one.
It's a good answer. I
yeah,
think that's our
yeah.
answer.
That's a good, a very good answer. Yes.
Does
I feel like
Goblin
this-
Sword count?
I feel like this question is in part having to do with the sort of live service games or games that are like living games that have updates, because GT Sport is one of those titles where it launched with not a whole lot of content and actually got bagged on because of that.
No, it launched with a lot of content. It didn't launch with a lot of single player campaign content.
Okay, that's what people wanted.
That's what it got bagged on. And now it's got tons.
Yeah.
They're constantly adding cars and tracks and events to that now. So,
yeah,
which they have with Gran Turismo games for multiple sequels. It's not just this one. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a game that's been like years since it was released that I got into, but like
one.
Dauntless came out in like 2016, 2017, and I didn't get into it until 2019. So that's kind of, but that's a live service, free to play game. So I feel like those you often can come back to them later.
I got into that pirate game that he mentioned earlier when they did the anniversary update because I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, Sea of Thieves.
Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say the name, but I did. It took me a year before I liked that game, thanks to their updates. So throw that one in there.
Indeed. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Pio Rowe, who says, with the cost of producing the PlayStation 5 rising due to shortages of components, would a delay to the release date be a better option than a $600 console at launch? Of course, this is kind of referring to some of the reports that components for the PS5, like RAM in particular, are experiencing a shortage and therefore a cost increase. So what do you think? Delay or more expensive? If that's even the equation here.
How long would the delay be? I mean, what are you talking about?
I mean, if you delay anything long enough, it's going to be super cheap, right?
Well, that's
delay it to 2023 and it'll be
seriously.
I think at this point it would be a bad idea to delay unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah, I agree.
They can, especially nowadays. I mean, it's possible if it got to the point that the price was too high and they wanted to, they could throw some software at it, right? I mean, there are ways to sort of soften that blow a little bit. But I mean, if you're talking,
throw some software at it,
as in give people who, if the price was to drop very quickly, give people who bought it at the higher price bit of like a few free games or something
like an ambassador
program. Yeah, like the ambassador program that Nintendo did when they dropped the 3DS price. I think that makes more sense than delaying the system.
Yeah.
But I think the reports that came out this week said that the component cost for the PS5 and the Series X are coming in like right around $450.
Oh yeah.
So a MSRP of $500 is,
that's fine.
Possible.
That is fine, but do not go north of 500. And if the question is delay or raise the cost, you just sell it. Always sell at a loss if you can in terms of hardware, but also there's a shortage and that'll create a demand. Blue ocean strategy that Nintendo might have. It's real in this particular case, but sell at shortage and just roll it out. But you can't afford to raise the cost past $500, and to delay coming to market would delay hype and allow your opponents to gain ground that they don't want to cede.
Yeah, I think staying around $500 is important. I really wonder if anyone will be north of that number. And if they are, gonna have to have a hell of a sales pitch included with that, right? Because people are very price sensitive when it comes to new consoles. And when you're buying a new console too, it doesn't just mean that's where your expense ends. You're buying new controllers and vertical stands and
CJ, to launch the show, you talked about streaming on your Apple device. If the pitch is better graphics, but you can stream it onto your device without buying anything, you can't have a sales pitch that says, well, it'll look better, and that's it. When you can play it on your iPhone, whatever, with how many pixels and what kind of resolution, etc. So it can't be.
Yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing about Project xCloud, because they have used up to now anyway, Xbox One S hardware for that. And when the next generation comes around, when xCloud officially launches, will that still be the case, or will they have upgraded it to 1x level hardware? Like where exactly is that going once we're out of beta on this? But yeah, I think that the other sort of thing that people aren't talking about is, we talked about last week, the coronavirus and how that impacts
Right.
Yeah.
manufacturing in Asia, which is where a lot of electronics are manufactured. And if it's going to be a huge factor with delaying the release, or is it going to be a situation where we have console shortages? Like I thought the Xbox 360 and PS3 and Wii days of people lining up just to eBay these consoles was over, because
Not so much.
for the PS4 and Xbox One, like you had a pretty ample supply on day one. But if manufacturing in China is severely impacted for the rest of the year, which who knows at this point, what happens? Will anyone want to delay the launch, or will they hope that production lines outside of the affected areas can handle the demand, right?
Mhm.
It's interesting. This is the second time in 6 months that we're having to evaluate what manufacturing in Asian markets might do to American costs. Because we did that when there was the trade disagreements in the political landscape,
All
where
right.
Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo wrote letters together to discuss the impact of manufacturing costs. And now, due to a virus outbreak, we might be impacted yet again. And it
Something you
speaks to the-
can't control.
right, right, exactly. It
Nobody
speaks
can
to
control that.
how globally informed we are, and how much that factors into our console costs and what we are aware of.
Yeah. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Mathman 1024. Speaking of viruses, what is your go-to game to play when you're sick? #flu.
#flu. I don't think I have a go-to game for when I'm sick. It's just
No?
whatever I'm playing. Nah, it's just whatever I'm playing.
Rex Ronan, Experimental Surgeon for the Super NES.
Something
Weirdly
something
specific.
single player. Something single player.
Something single player.
Yeah.
You don't
Arkham.
go multi when you're sick?
No, not you. If I'm sick,
Well, you
then,
don't want to spread the virus.
Well,
yeah, well, that's
a good
there's
point.
that. I don't like being on the mic and coughing up a storm.
Why?
and-
Everybody else does.
It's true. So
Fair.
Arkham, something third person action.
One of the things I love playing online multiplayer games is when you hear people's smoke detector beep, like the batteries are. This is a
You're like,
real
replace
thing.
that
This is a
battery,
real.
bro.
Does that
This
happen
This is
to
a
you?
real problem. This happens to me all the time.
It
yes.
happens to you enough that you feel like you need to mention it. So
It happens to
Wow.
me enough that I feel I need to mention it because, I hear it quite a bit where I'll join like a multiplayer, usually Sea of Thieves game, and the person's smoke detector battery is beeping. It's terrible.
Someone's playing the long con on CJ here.
yeah.
It happens a lot. I'm sure we have listeners who play multiplayer games who can attest to that. But anyway, go to
Okay.
game play when I'm sick.
I'm curious if you can attest to that, please, by all means do, because I've never heard of
It's a
someone
thing.
complaining about that.
It's a thing. When I'm sick, I don't know. I play Mario game. Play some comfort food games, right? That's let's do this one from Hacker Alias Uno Il Nino, who says it's Friday the 13th, Alien Isolation, Terminator Resistance, and soon Predator Hunting Grounds, all doing a great job of representing 80s cinema this gen. What other legendary movies from that era do you think would make for a good gaming experience?
From the 80s?
From the 80s.
Commando.
Commando. That'd be
Of
perfect.
course. Hey, I already
Wait,
played
what?
the.
Oh, Platoon.
Not been done.
I've already played the premier Platoon game.
Rambo, of course. Remake
Yeah,
that.
Rambo. Yeah.
Make a Misfits of Science game, please. Knight Rider. Come on, let's do it.
That wasn't
Knight
a
Rider would be
movie.
cool.
It's a TV show. Come on.
Well, let's say Airwolf then.
Airwolf. I play that. There was an Airwolf game.
There was an Airwolf. There
And
was.
there was
I
a
Airwolf.
Knight
know
Rider
there was a Knight Rider game too.
There was a Platoon game.
Well, I was gonna say, why are you allowed to have those and I'm not?
There wasn't there a Predator game?
Yes.
Yes, of course
Yeah.
there was. There was an AS Predator game.
It
Yeah.
was terrible.
What
Yeah.
about Top Gun? Top Gun would be cool. If they made
There-
they made a good one. There have been a few Top Gun games,
Yeah.
but maybe if they made a good one, like Ace Combat 7 style.
Oh, that could be pretty good.
Hmm.
I like that. I like that. They've done Ghostbusters
Goonies.
several times. Goonies would be good.
Goonies. Maybe a sequel, like a some sort of theoretical
Like a
Goonies,
Goonies
2.
2.
Yeah. Maybe they could rescue a mermaid. Because that's the logical progression. You're going to go with that storyline.
I
a
like
game of the Chuck Norris movie Sidekicks. I would like a game of
Sidekicks.
that film.
There you go.
Turner and Hooch.
We're just listing
Could be
movies. All right.
No, it's a
Just listing.
two-player. It's a two-player game. One is Turner, one is Hooch.
Yeah.
Together, it's like a puzzle platformer. There are only there are only small passages that only Hooch can get through, or maybe there's something up on a shelf
Yeah.
that you need Turner.
Something up on a shelf.
Yeah, Turner's got thumbs. That's his power.
Opposable thumbs. His power
Yeah.
is opposable thumbs.
And Hooch.
How about the Michael J. Fox classic, The Secret of My Success? You can have like a
What about-
mailroom thing. You start in
what
the
about-
mailroom, then work your way up.
Teen Wolf.
Oh, Teen Wolf.
How about Teen Wolf TOO? Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf also.
Jason Bateman vehicle. With
I feel like if there was a
styles.
Teen Wolf game now, it would be based
Fake
on the
styles.
MTV series and not the one that we
I
like.
don't think so.
I was gonna guess they could do Total Recall as a game.
They already did.
I mean, they did Total Recall as a
did.
game, but it was
you know,
bad.
speaking of 80s Michael J. Fox vehicles, this past weekend we
Poison Ivy?
showed Finn Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
We watched
Oh.
Back to the Future with Finn because we'll do like a little family movie night every week.
Okay.
We'll watch a movie, and yeah, we've been taking the opportunity to show him some of our favorite movies that we feel he would enjoy, and
Okay.
it's been 100% success rate so far.
Nice.
So
All right.
he's enjoyed Jurassic Park.
That's
He's
a good
enjoyed
one.
The Princess Bride.
Yeah. Charlotte likes
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, he enjoyed the Neverending Story.
Yeah.
Which, if you've not seen the Neverending Story, I haven't watched that movie since I was a kid. That movie's not good. That movie is a
Is it not
What?
good?
Oh, no, it is.
no.
watch if
Aw.
you
Watch
by
it now.
but again, he loved it. He really enjoyed
yeah.
it. But man, it is a mess narratively. Just like it's just scene. Like there's nothing really flows together.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
what made it great though.
like
Yeah, but it's
I have a
bad
memory of like the Rockbiter character
Yeah.
being like one of the most important aspects of that movie. He's in that movie for like 5 minutes. He shows up at the beginning
yeah.
and then
And then that's it.
goes away, and then he shows up right at the end and just says, "Oh, all my other friends died," and it's just okay.
He's the one that says they look like big, strong hands.
yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
he's
that's him.
lamenting
Yeah.
because all his little buddies, the nothing consumed them, and he is
All
sad.
right, I gotta find the
because
never-ending story on a streaming service. I'm watching that
should have-
tonight.
He should have saved them with his big, strong hands. But we were watching Back to the Future, and it was funny because
Finn recognized Billy Zane from Titanic.
it's like
Is
Not from
Billy Zane in
Titanic,
that
That's
movie?
weird. Billy Zane is in Back to the Future.
Yeah,
he's
Billy
one of-
Zane's
one of
one of
Biff's
Biff's
cronies.
cronies
That's
in
right.
Back to the Future.
But no, he recognized. He was just like, "Oh shit, the Phantom." That's what Finn saw.
Phantom.
Finn doesn't care about
Man,
Titanic.
now there's
but-
a
Oh.
there's
I love the
there's a
Phantom.
there's a time in movies that I think a lot of people have forgotten about, which is
Yeah.
the post Burton Batman
yeah.
comic book movie rush.
Oh,
that
God.
happened.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
Rocketeer.
Everybody was releasing comic book movies, and
Yes,
most of them
indeed.
sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Tracy.
because everyone was
Dick
going
Tracy
after
was
like
good.
the like
Eh,
let's get all the comics from like the 1920s.
Yeah.
You know, so
They
you
were
got
the-
like
They were the cheapest ones.
the shadow and
Yeah,
exactly.
The Shadow.
the
But
Phantom.
but it was funny because Back to the Future, like at the start of the movie, Finn had no interest because it's all like
It's
you
a
know,
slow burn at first.
it is because it's like Marty talking to his schlumpy family.
Yeah.
And they're just
yeah.
like, I gotta go to my job at the fast food place. And Finn's just like, this is boring. And it's just like, hold on, they're gonna get to the mall parking lot in a minute here. And then
there'll
it
be a
kicks-
super awesome car.
Yeah.
and fire.
and as soon as that
Plutonium.
happens, and as soon as the time travel occurs, he was hooked. And
Terrorists.
he's just staring
shooting
there
your friends.
the whole time.
Yeah.
We did have to pause occasionally and just kind of like help him wrap his
Explain
head
what
about the
Libyan
time
terrorist
travel.
was? Oh,
Well,
sorry.
just all the time travel hoo-ha was a little confusing for him. So it was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, he's got to do this. So
Well, and
so
you got to
we can-
explain the casual alcohol use too.
yeah,
Important.
and all the rapiness from Biff.
yeah,
and all
yeah,
the rapiness.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a fair bit
Oh.
of rape at the end of that movie.
yeah. But hey, Biff gets his just desserts.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
gets socked in the
true.
jaw. But it was funny because like I said, we had to keep stopping it to sort of explain the time travel timelines and consequences and actions, reactions and stuff. Afterwards, he's like, "Oh, is there another one? I want to watch the next one." And I'm just like, "Oh, dude, if you were having trouble following this one,
Did
Number
you? But
two.
has he seen Endgame?
Uh.
Because now he knows that's all bullshit. That's not
That's
how time
right.
travel
It's-
works.
he
That's right,
has
it's not how it
not."
works.
Oh.
No, the only
Mm.
the only superhero stuff he has expressed any interest in was the Spider-Man movies. So we watched the 2 Spider-Man movies because he
I
saw
can't blame him for wanting to see Spider-Man.
yeah, because he
Well-
saw Spider-Verse, and because
And
he
then
is,
was disappointed by the 2 Spider-Man
because
movies.
he is a human, he loved Spider-Verse,
Well, yeah.
and then it
Well,
was yeah,
Spider-Verse is incredible.
yeah, of course it is spectacular. Some might say.
Amazing.
I've heard the uncanny.
wrong
I
franchise.
can't get the last ultimate. It's ultimate. It's the ultimate experience.
Mm,
Yeah, I lost that.
yeah. Unbeatable. Squirrel Girl. Boom.
Unlimited.
Done.
But no, he loved Back to the Future, and like first of all, that movie's so good.
Oh, Back to the Future?
Back to the Future
Yeah.
is
Oh,
so
yeah.
expertly, tightly written. It is amazing. I have seen that movie. I have no idea how many times, but
Same.
that whole end sequence with the storm and
Yeah.
Doc and Marty kind of fighting about the letter, and then Marty rushing off, and then the cable coming unsnapped. That scene is still so tense.
Not to mention,
Yeah.
not to mention
so
lots of Leah
good.
Thompson.
Oh my god!
Of course.
I mean,
Jeez
only makes
Louise.
any movie better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
Now,
Yeah, and I was in
because
love
of
with her.
course, popular film franchises are going to eventually be rebooted.
If you're looking for my
remade.
iPad, Finn, it's out on the dining room table. I put it there specifically.
Look at him run out of the room.
Close the door, buddy.
That's hilarious.
Finn, come close the door.
In
I
this
hear-
modern, oh,
I hear
What?
some thumping, and I look around, and Finn's on the ground doing like an army crawl because he wants to play some iPad games. But
in this modern
Yes.
era,
yes,
rebooting popular movie franchises,
yeah.
they're eventually going to reboot Back to the Future. You know that, right?
Well, I mean,
They are
I don't
eventually
know.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'll-
And I know, I think
risk. I think.
I think I read that like the writers of Back to the Future are trying to not have that happen.
yeah,
But come on,
yeah.
it's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna be
I think
Yeah.
they would need to wait until all of us are dead.
Is it Bob
Well,
Gale? Is that the
Bob
creator?
Gale and Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine Robert Zemeckis doing anything subpar these days. When Marty comes back to the present, which by the way, we were explaining about how the entirety of the Back to the Future saga is now 5 years in the past.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
which Finn
Yeah,
thought
how
was
crazy is that?
hilarious. He was very amused by that, as opposed to horrified, which is what he should be. When Marty comes back and his actions have fixed his family, and when Biff is all like subservient now, and is, oh gosh, Mr. McFly, Finn's reaction is like, Marty's dad is the bully. because Biff is being all like wimpy and and Marty's dad's out yelling, oh, Biff, you don't try to con me, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
but remember, Biff was an attempted rapist, so
also true.
Yeah.
But we didn't explain that part to him.
No, why would
but we
you?
did but we did explain that, Biff, he was only trying to use one coat of wax on the car.
That's right.
Marty's dad paid for 2 coats of wax, and Biff is trying to cheat him.
Yeah.
So, but the very end with the whole like, where we're going, we don't need streets.
Roads.
I'm pretty sure it's streets. I just watched it.
No.
And the car lifts up. His little mouth just dropped. He thought that was the coolest damn thing, and it flies off, and he was just like, "Wow, this is so cool!" So yeah,
Dude, when that movie
So
came out,
great.
I saw it in the theater, of course, like we all did back in the day.
oh yeah.
I also had a similar reaction to Finn, but I was like, when is the sequel coming
I
out?
know, right?
And it was like 5 years later.
Yeah, but no,
And not very good.
He
Let's
loved
be
it.
honest. I like
It's
Back
not-
to the Future Part 3. Part
Not-
3 is good.
None of them are bad. The only Back to the
Yeah.
Future 2
2
suffers.
and 3 just aren't memorable. I think
They suffer because the first one is so good.
yeah.
Neither of them are bad. It's just the first one is that good.
Possible.
No, it's right.
I think
is
you're
correct.
probably.
That is
Would they should do a Back to the Future TV show? Do a TV
They
show.
did. It was a cartoon.
Yeah. they
It's a
should do that
Saturday
again.
morning cartoon.
Live action.
Should they?
I don't know.
Should they?
So
What,
they're
like
doing
tooling around in the train?
What are you guys hopes and fears for Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Oh my gosh.
That comes out.
I'll be
I hope
honest.
it's good.
I don't care. Bill and Ted, I thought was a fun movie. I don't have any strong feelings about it. I couldn't even
No.
tell you what happened in the second one.
I only ever saw the
Um,
second one once.
The second one is great. Don't be
And
fooled.
the first one was lots of fun,
Yeah.
but I don't care.
I
if
am
that-
so excited for Bill and
Ugh.
Ted 3. Holy crap.
I still want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll rush to the theater to see it, but I still do want to see it.
I will be there on opening night for
Um,
Bill and Ted 3.
know, I mean-
Absolutely.
Keanu Reeves. So
Don't take away from Alex Winter.
I just did.
You can't have Ted without Bill.
Yes, you can.
That's
I'm
nonsense.
all I was saying is I need to show
Nonsense.
solidarity because Keanu Reeves is Canadian. So,
Hey,
gotta-
speaking
gotta
of
support our boy.
Canadians,
Yeah.
you hear
When are
Rick
we not?
Moranis is getting back into acting?
I heard.
I heard that.
Rick
He's gonna
Moranis
be
is-
in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot, right?
They're rebooting Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but keeping the same lead actor, which is
That's crazy.
odd. But
Honey, I Shrunk the Grandkids.
How old is Rick Moranis now?
he's
Not
not
60s.
probably.
Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, he's looking good.
Okay.
I saw a
That's
recent
good.
picture of him. He's
They need to
looking good.
reboot Bob and Doug McKenzie. They need to
Oh my
reboot Strange
goodness.
Brew.
Oh man,
I'd be there for that.
yeah. They should do a Strange Brew sequel, but have it based on a different Shakespeare play.
I think that's where we should end it.
Did you ever see? Did you ever see
Now
see
we're
Strange
running
Brew?
long. Yeah.
It's Hamlet.
Yeah.
Take
It's
your word for
Hamlet.
that.
The brew have you ever okay, well, first of all, have any of you idiots ever read Hamlet?
Yeah, when I was in high school.
Okay.
That was a long
Luke
time
raised
ago,
his
Phil.
hand. Luke raised his hand.
Well, because it's this is an audio.
It has
format,
less to
so-
do with not knowing
I teach
Hamlet, and more
English.
to do with more nice, and more to do with not remembering the intricacies of Strange Brews.
Well, that's
storyline.
and you call yourself a Canadian.
Oh my god!
And you call you. You know what? Next time you get sick, you have to pay money for it. That's your punishment. They're going to
Sounds
charge
awful.
you. Yeah. Yeah, well, trust me, it is.
You know, we have a system to fix that.
Do you?
I can
What's it
describe
called?
It if it's single payer healthcare.
I don't understand.
No,
Sounds like
it's socialism.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Ah.
I was hanging out at the Cafe the other day, and we were chatting about this.
Oh God. Oh God. Make it stop. I
I
think
was
that's
at
where
a-
we should end it. What do you think?
I was at my local
Starting
Like,
to run a
hipster.
little long.
abort.
I was at my
Abort,
hipster
abort.
coffee shop the other day, and I heard a couple people talking.
All righty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. All righty, and that is our show for this
Man,
week.
Johnston.
All righty, and that is our show for this week. If
There it is.
you have a question for us or would like
Doing
to
great.
comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You will find Generation 16 episodes as they happen.
I just recorded the voiceover track for the latest episode this morning. I thought it was going to clock in about 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh no.
Just over an hour.
Wow. Whoa. So this
Big
could be like
episode.
2 episodes or 4
This is-
episodes.
Yeah, it's probably still going to be one episode, but
Oh.
yeah, it's a big one.
You will find show notes and links to the things that we talked about during this episode. And you'll also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up whatever podcast application you use. Doesn't matter. We're on all of them. Probably.
Yeah.
You can also what do I say here?
You really got to write this down.
I really
You're
do.
looking
Yeah,
at
it's
the
not
screen
funny
like
anymore.
You've,
It's
you've
been
written something down,
almost
but
2
you haven't.
months.
I'm looking at the screen like I'm looking at you guys.
Oh, okay.
I always look at the screen.
Okay.
Well, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher,
Yeah.
we're
Like
on
what you hear, and how could you?
Facebook. I'm
You
getting
see,
to
Luke's got it. Luke
I'm
has
getting
it.
to it. Luke. So-called Luke. More like puke. That's what I think.
Oh, thanks. It's new.
I'm kidding. Touche. My goodness. Oh, we're on. You like us on Facebook. You can watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Follow our Twitter account, friends, to find out when we will be next appearing live on that particular online video service. And if you like what you've heard, Luke,
And
how
how
could
could
you?
you?
and how could you?
There you go.
You can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Maybe I will be able to afford a pen to write down this outro. Maybe.
Yes. Possible.
It's less about the pen and more about me. That's the problem. I am the bottleneck here, friends. Hey, and you know what? If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier, you do gain access to a weekly post show where we play games and have fun and crack wise and do all the naughty stuff that we can't do on the normal show due to FCC regulations. We can get away with it. It's a loophole, and we are exploiting it for your benefit.
Cheap.
So join us. It's cheap too. You heard the man. If you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite second banana, but the company that brought us the big box office win this week,
Mm-hmm.
Sega Genesis.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. Are you going to do a special Generation 16 movie review of Sonic the Hedgehog
It's
colon
not a bad
the
idea.
motion picture? Yeah, well, I can't believe that I'm giving you that idea for free.
Yeah.
You should do that. You should
You're stand-up guy, Theobald.
well, I try not to.
Yeah, no,
very
I'm with
old.
you. I'm
Yeah,
right
the
there
body
with
doesn't
you.
work the way it used to.
Yeah. Why change what's worked all these years?
Boy, speaking of bodies not working out the way that you hoped, our good enemy of the show, Christopher Baker, he just posted a picture
I saw that.
on his Twitter account
Oh no.
Remember when you
of-
were young and had potential?
of me. Remember when I was young and there was like a third of me?
Yeah.
He just posted a picture that he snapped at the Ziff Davis offices, I guess,
Of young Phil.
of me
Oh
and
my
my
Less
me and my
fat and
cube.
more hair.
Yeah, not much more hair. Let's.
Yeah, a lot less
Come on.
fat though.
Yeah, that's. Oh my goodness, that is true. I'm wearing a Postal shirt.
Postal.
So
yeah.
remember Postal?
You know, I look at
Oh,
that and I wish I still had that little TV that was in our cubicles.
I know, right?
Those were nice televisions.
Yeah,
They're just
They
the right
were.
size and
I have a bunch of Pokemon toys in my cubicle back then.
yeah,
Weird.
crazy.
Also, is that a? I'm seeing a blue PlayStation 1. Was the debug one, right?
That's the debug.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Clearly,
Yeah.
you weren't playing it though because it's not upside down. So,
And that old phone.
mhm.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Anyway, head over if you want to see an old picture of me at Seabake76.
I retweeted it on
Oh,
the
did ya?
P1 podcast account.
Beautiful. You know what?
'cause You know I did.
Then don't. You know what? Don't go to Seabake's.
But
Twitter
you should be
account.
following Seabake anyway.
It's true. He posts a lot of industry secrets
Yep, it's true.
and dirty.
He gets in
pictures.
trouble almost every day.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Right.
He's like the
Um,
Twitter version of Fat Babies.
Fat babies.
We're like the real life fat babies.
Yeah. Fat bald babies.
Ah. Oh boy. Anyway, there's that. CJ,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank you, Phil.
very, very much for all of that and all of this. Gregory,
Yo.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip.
And of course, a big old thanks to our special guest, the man of the hour, me, Phil Theobald, for doing this. No, I'm kidding. Of course,
So
big old honking thanks to Luke Lore. Is that I'm pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah,
Luke
you nailed
Lore.
it.
Luke
Lore.
Lore.
yeah.
Luke, my good friend, tell the internet where you hang out.
Oh, you can find me on the Xbox Expansion Pass podcast. That is on all of your podcast services. It's an analytical look at the Xbox ecosystem. I try to celebrate the good in the industry and have guests on like Steven Spawn of Able Gamers and Stu Grubbs from Lightstream Technologies and indie developers of all different kinds. You can find it over on all of your podcast services and find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost. But yeah, it would mean the world if you guys would check out the show and stick around if you like what you hear.
Absolutely. I will link to it in the show notes so that you can easily find it.
And
Well,
listen to
thank you.
that. Listen to that. He knew what to say.
He did.
You
I
know,
wrote it
he's
down.
Well, it's because you're not a hack, Luke. This guy
Oh.
over here caring about his podcast. Oh my gosh! But yes,
Indeed.
thank you
Figure.
so much, Luke.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's an absolute
you.
pleasure. I watch you guys every week. So thank you for having me on.
Well,
Absolutely.
not all your taste is.
We
great,
can't. Yeah, I was
apparently.
gonna say I can't really get behind your
We
taste. in
can't
podcast.
help you with that, but
Thank you.
but everyone
Thank
should
you.
go check it out. So
Absolutely.
and thanks of course to our wonderful listeners all, and we will see all y'all next week.
Bye.
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 Toodle-oodles.